Hello, my friends. We are back with another Halloween makeup look today. It's really fucking hot in my house right now. For some reason, I think they might have, I don't know, turned off the AC. I don't know what kind of power they have to do that, but my stuff is on cold and it's 76 degrees in here and it's set to 70. So I'm struggling. I'm hot. I'm sweating. I have the fan going up there, but it's not going very quick. All I know is it's hot in here and I'm so warm right now. Before we get into what we're going to be doing today, I just want to do another very speedy, quick reminder of the fact that I am using the entire month of October to raise money for the Joyful Heart Foundation in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you look behind me, you can kind of see some of these purple sticky notes up here. And every $5, your name will go on a sticky note and it'll go back there. Every $10, I have to add one of these Extreme Sour Warheads to my live stream so people can watch me struggle. For $25, you can get a special role in my Discord server. And for $100, you get a digital Christmas card from me. So if you are feeling so inclined to donate, the link will be in the description box down below. I also will put my Twitch channel up right here, CaitlinJolene_Sims. If you would like to come check out, we will be live. If you're seeing this on the day I post it, which is a Friday tonight. If not, currently for the month of October, I am streaming Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday, about 8:30 p.m. EST roughly every night. And yeah, so if you feel so inclined to donate, if you have $1, if you have 50 cents, if you have $20, I don't know, whatever you have. That'd be so super duper cool of you. We are currently sitting at about $745 and our goal is 1,000, and I even have stretch goals up to 2,000. So that's pretty crazy, but 745 is nuts. This is barely even week 2. I did one stream in week 2. What are we doing today? I want to do a pop art look. Now, have I done pop art in my life? Yes. However, it was a super speedy, like, I'm going to do this for work phone call that's about to happen in like 8 hours. Let me do this real quick. Now, I know last week I was like, hey, doing stuff ahead of time, I really overthink it. I don't thrive. Maybe I shouldn't, repeat looks. But I found a photo of a girl doing it as a comic book strip cutout on her face that had the pop art on it. And that feels like a fun time to me. So this is what we're doing. Sorry, I'm being really dramatic. So we're gonna mix kind of two different vibes here. So we have like a pop art vibe and then we have like the comic book vibe, right? And I want to do the comic book with more of the dots on the skin tone, like a pop art style. I find that the just plain like foundation isn't really my jam. I want all the dots. I want the fancy pantsy Rich Mickey over here, okay? But with that being said, if you enjoy this, feel free to subscribe down below. Go hang out on my TikTok even. I do a lot of fun, and Instagram. I do a lot of fun transition videos during this Halloween time where I do lots of cool stuff. Speaking of, I need to go film those. This could have been bad, but I got it under control. On that note, let's get started. I keep doing all these makeup looks where I have to do glam before I can do the rest. And like, this already takes me longer than I want it to. It's 9:45 p.m. I haven't even done the cool shade yet. But what you can kind of tell is, oh my God, there's something on my face. I took a little white eyeliner pencil and kind of outlined where I want this like comic book paper to go when my face is turned. And so because of that, I'm going to outline that in my white paint real quick so that I can do the shading without fucking up the white too much and being able to go back in and like go on top of that and kind of fix it a little bit later. So we're going to do that super, super duper speedy. And then we're also going to break it into our little lines because we have like a straight line here, and even a vertical line that we have to deal with. So I'm going to just mix into my Mehron 98 pan face paint palette, water activated face paint palette, I should say. I do need like a handheld mirror. Give me 1 second, it might be easier. This mirror's a mess, but it's the Friends X Revolution mirror that they came out with during the Makeup Revolution collab they did with them. I realized recently that I have the Chandler palette, and that is so sad. RIP to the greatest, honestly. So I'm going to take this, and so I want the edges to look a little rough, a little papery, obviously. So I'm going to try and keep the paint at least a little bit opaque to start, and then that hopefully will give us the illusion of the edges. I just don't want it to end up being too wet is my concern, and having it like drip. So I'm gonna start here. I'm sorry, I actually didn't check once if during that entire process you could even see anything. So there's that. So now I can go through and I can shade these edges a little bit easier now that I at least have some paint down, so I know where they're gonna be. So I'm gonna take some shadow and we're gonna do some shading. And then we'll come back and we'll do the other bits like the straight lines and, you know, starting to do the foundation within those straight lines, starting to do the base paint for some of those locations as well. It's gonna be a little bit more of like a tedious task, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm going to take a light brown. This is very similar to what I did last week. I took a lighter brown. I applied that first very gently. I took a darker brown. I applied that a little bit closer to the line, and then I'll take a black and kind of accent maybe some of the spots like in the inner corners. And if you start with the lightest and then work your way to the darkest, you'll get the most gradual shadow, and it will also fade really nicely into your actual skin tone, which at the end of the day is what we want. So that's what we're working with. But as you can see, we're starting to get a little bit of a shadow now, right? I also, like, at least on camera, it doesn't look as harsh in real life, but on camera it looks a little harsh right here, so I can always just go in once I wipe off any excess and just kind of buff that out. To be honest though, this is going to be underneath the bangs, so it's really not going to matter that much, but I can always buff the edges to make them look a little bit more gradual and not as sharp or harsh as they might look on camera. This is going to take me a hot minute, so you don't have to suffer through, okay? Just me, just me. All right, so I did the first start of that shadow, and now I'm going to take, this is like a flat, like tight line brush, but it is a little bit fluffier than like the true fine, super tiny brush that I used last week. So it's a little bit fluffier, and that's what we're gonna use to follow these lines. I also realized I did need to apply a little bit of lip liner at least to give some sort of definition to my lips in order for me to shade them. So if something looks changed, you probably can't tell because it's only this itty bitty tiny part, but I did something while I was gone. I was a liar. I didn't wait for you. I just did it. So what I'm going to do, see, maybe I should zoom you in. Do you want to see this better? Here you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to do it here first so you guys can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to literally press. I'm pressing it on the side of the line that the glam is on. I'm not trying to press it on top of the white because that's not what we want. Okay, so now I'm trying to turn so you guys can see better. Can you tell the cat's here? I'm also trying to be kind of confident with these lines, and I know that's hard, but what's going to be important is when you press these lines, you don't want to second guess and like pick your brush up and put it in a different spot. So you need to be confident. Proceed with confidence. So then if you're thinking about how, if we have light coming this way, say, the shadows on this side are going to be dark, but right here is not going to be as dark, right? So you don't want to put this dark shade all the way along because you're going to lose some of that three-dimensional look, right? So we put it down here, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on the underside of this one. So see how that already is showing a little bit more shadow. Mind you, I'm going to blend this a little bit so it's not going to be so harsh. But see, you're getting a little bit of that shadow on the sides that you actually would be if the sun was shining or there was some sort of natural shadow happening. Okay, so that's those two. I'm going to do some shading now so you guys can at least see that part too, instead of me going off and doing all this brown and then doing the shading after. But I'm gonna take that same brush I used before, and I'm just gonna buff along the edges. This one's in a weird spot. I'm just gonna tap along this one. It's kind of hard to get to, but either way. So I'm just gonna buff along the edges here just to blend it out so it's not so harsh. It becomes more shadow-like. This is that like detail-oriented part of you that's gonna really need to have a lot of patience, because to get it to look how you're gonna want it to look, it's not going to be the fastest thing in the world, you know? Now, if for any reason these aren't blending the way that you want to, right now I'd say mine are blending pretty good, but if they weren't blending the way that you wanted, you could always dip this brush back into this lighter brown that we put down first, and then use that to blend and to assist you a little bit. Okay, so this is where we're at currently, right? So you can see there's like some definition in areas that others do not have, and that's going to give more of that accurate illusion of something being popping off of your face or being applied maybe even on top of your face. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna continue to do this around my whole face because this is gonna take me a hot ass second. So I'm gonna go do this along my whole face. We'll come back and we'll start separating this out into our little sections so we can figure out where and what we need to put down as far as colors and like kind of blocking out our goals here. I did all the shading. I'll probably have to touch it up again later, like once we finalize the paint above it and all that, but just for now, this is a good base to work with. Like I said, I wanted to do this shading first because if I didn't, and then I go in to shade on top of all this white, you can kind of see it in some places. It becomes really muddy, and I don't want that to happen later when I'm trying to make it like a really strong pop art, right? This is just a white eyeliner pencil. It's from Wet n Wild from ages ago, but any white eyeliner pencil will do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to try and just kind of draw some straight lines. It looks like there's one that goes through the nose. I don't know if I can pull that off, but I'll do it right next to the nose maybe. I'm like tempted genuinely to use like this and like hold it here and help me out a little bit, but that might be crazy. What if I got a piece of cardboard? Then it wouldn't be as crazy. I'm gonna do this and then I'm going to try, except I can't really see past it, so let me fold it in half. I'm gonna use it as a straight edge to help me. But I need to fold it so I can see past it, or else it's gonna be very difficult for me to even see what I'm doing. We are going to do one of these. Maybe more like this. Okay, all right, and then this way, we're going to do a straight line. Well, would you look at that? We have all these straight lines now. Who would have thunk it? Makeup is just using random shit around your house, it turns out. So what they have down here is a like nighttime scene. Up here is like bright yellow. So we're gonna start with that. There's also dots on top of the yellow that are orange. We'll see if I can pull that off with maybe just like some of these, but I'm gonna dip into my Makeup Forever Flash palette. These are cream paints and they smell so crazy. I've also had this for years. Like there's a 95% chance that this is expired, but like who's really keeping track? It's me, I'm keeping track. I'm gonna start with the blue because I think that one's gonna be the easiest to do. I'm actually just gonna go in straight with this blue and maybe I can shade it later with like shadow, but I'm just gonna take the blue that's literally in the palette. It's very strong, very prominent, and I'm going to start painting that on. Would you look at that? This is crazy. I just realized though, I probably should have done the foundation first, so I don't get this all over my foundation. Now that I at least started that, that makes me feel good. I need to do the foundation because if not, I'm going to regret it later. So in these spaces here and here, I'm gonna be doing foundation. However, I do want it to be a little bit lighter and a little bit more full coverage than my standard. So I'm going to take my lightest shade of my standard foundation as well as another very, very light shade of the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. It has a little bit more, this is also by L'Oreal, has a little bit more coverage, whereas this Infallible Pro Glow is definitely more of that medium. Worst case, I can also add in some concealer or whatever and use that as a bit of a foundation, but I'm thinking this will suffice. I did do some slight color correction on the inner corner here before I got started. And then there's also a brush that I've already kind of used today to help me get along the edges. So essentially, even though we're doing foundation in 2 spots, I do want to honor the lines still because it'll give me, if I keep the white right there, it'll be much easier for me later. So another thing, like with a pop art, there's not going to be a lot of definition. Like we're not gonna have, other than the lines obviously, but like I don't need to be able to see shadows on my nose or have bronzer, you know? So it's gonna feel very flat, but that is the intention. It is 2D art, so don't feel bad. That is literally the goal. I'm gonna leave the powder open because I will need it again in like a second, but now that I at least have this down, I can do this blue again. And then we're also on this blue side gonna put the little city skyline view, and that will be nice and fun as well. Also, you can see I left a gap here. That's intentional because that's where the white line's gonna go anyways. And instead of blurring this line when it's touching more of my skin tone, I felt like leaving an intentional gap gives me more of a guide to kind of trace it out with. Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to take some more and kind of just outline. I want to see the photo, but I need to start kind of outlining the city skyline view. So I just kind of have to go based on literally vibes. All right, you can see the outline of that. I need to find a way to make this a little bit more opaque. I can always just set it with like a blue shadow, which will help, but I need it to be a little bit more consistent. I'm getting comfy. You can't tell, but I have a knee up. I'm like fully committed to this comfort level here. I'm gonna dip into my yellow. Yellow is much more opaque, let me tell ya. I think what I'm going to do, so the yellow, or but not opaque, but like creamy feeling. The blue was a little hard. The one thing I need to try to figure out, so there is like a pipe up here, but I think that's just an unrealistic thing for me to try to do. However, there is this big white like bubble that could be cool. I don't know if this is gonna be noticeable at all once I put the wig on, but for our fun, I can do it here. So I'm gonna take this and just kind of do one of these. Actually, I wonder if I could overlap it. Would it be crazy to like overlap it into this section? I feel like it wouldn't be. Oh my God, wait, that could be so fun. If I go down like to here and then I go into this section. Because I feel like that's one of the things with comic books and pop art, right? Like the lines and the limits do not exist. The limit does not exist. If you know, you know. If you've been around here for a while, you will know this saying, but I always say that you can't let the eyeliner know you're afraid because it will take advantage of your fear. That's how I feel right now. Can't let the black face paint know that you're afraid. Because if you do, you're giving it all the power. And we don't like that. We have the power. Now the hard part of setting all of this. This is the messiest thing I will ever do. And I want you to understand that nobody has fun doing this, including me. But we take this RCMA No Color Powder and we put it in this, I already made a mess, itty bitty little cover, okay? And then we take this giant fluffy brush that is larger than the cover, okay? This makes no sense and I understand. You work with what you have. You shove it in there. You take it out, you try your best to like hold it to the side and not make a giant mess, but you will. Everything will be covered in this powder. Your heart, your soul, your body, absolutely everything. And then I'm gonna start up top because these lighter shades are gonna be easier to put this powder on and not stain the other ones. But I am tapping this powder all over that area. We are setting these cream paints. So when you are mixing both cream paints and water activated paints, if you want to do any shading of shadow or anything on top of a cream paint, you do need to set it very, very well. You will get a lot of transfer. Like cream paints do not dry down. So what I want to do next is I want to focus on this section up here. I want to do the little dots around here. I want to make this more white, probably with a eyeshadow. And then I want to focus on this section, and then I want to do all of the face stuff. It only took me like 2 seconds to decide what I wanted to do. What I ended up doing is if I just take my finger and I just do a couple of these, it becomes a pretty solid circle, you know? So I'm just gonna do that. Mind you, I know that half of these are gonna be covered by a wig, so kind of why I wanted to start up at the top so that way I could fuck up. So my battery is gonna die. So all I'm gonna do off camera for a second here is I'm gonna fix this white area a little bit. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of the paint and kind of fix it up. Probably use some shadow to help that as well. And then from there, I also need to kind of clean up this bottom edge now and put foundation back on it. Bit of a bummer there, kind of screwed myself, but that's okay. We need to do some shading in here. And I might just play around with that off camera. We can do the rest of this stuff together, But I think I'll just finish up this and this just like on my own. Okay, you got to see the fun parts, but now it's go time. You know, now it's time to focus. It's 11 o'clock, you know? I gotta get this show on the road, if you will. Okay, we have, I mean, this was really deep, so I didn't really get a lot of variation in here. I was too lazy to go get like actual blues that would give us variation, so that's on me. But I did fix this up. I set this a little bit. This white, a lot more strong now. Super into it, super excited. The only other thing that I need to do now is the dots on my face. Now, these ones I don't necessarily want to do with my hands. I'm thinking I might do them with a brush. How I want to go about doing this, a lot of people just do it on like their contour lines, but I just want the whole thing to be more pink, right? So I'm going to kind of go down. I might only do it in this section though, and not down here, just to like change it up a little bit. That is balance-wise a little off. Maybe I'll do contour here and then like all over here, because then it would be dots, dots, no dots. I don't know if I like that now that I'm saying that, but I want the dots. I really do. Okay, how about this? How about I start the dots in this section, and then if I hate them, they stay there. And if I like them, they go everywhere. That feels like a good compromise. I'm gonna take my little pink and I'm going to try to go, I'm gonna use my handheld mirror. That way I'm not looking down like this and you can't see. I'm gonna try to go in a straight line to follow the straight line I've already created. So dot. Number 1. It's like a little Marilyn Monroe piercing that I've always wanted. I don't actually want it. I used to want it, but not anymore. Dot here. Maybe I just do it here then. Keep it a little bit more balanced so it's not so overwhelming. I do want it to be a little bit of a lighter pink though than what I have going on. Maybe if I like dip into both, does that do what I want? Yeah, it does. Okay. Couple dips into each, and we're just gonna follow like our contour line here. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do, so the lips I want to do last solely for the fact that having the red stay on and not get like super butthole-y, kind of hard. But what we're gonna do next, we're gonna paint the teardrops as well as my lids. So the lower lash line kind of pops with like a white very often. So I am going to try and do that real quick. I also painted my eyelashes white, the bottom one, so they'll blend in, and then when I make the new lower lash line, it won't be as crazy. I also think that I might want to draw on eyelashes. I feel like the last time I did that, I didn't love it, but this like, I'll put up on the screen. This is one I keep referencing with like the neon and the white with the like teardrop more in the front and like this really big, crazy, like Twiggy-esque eyeliner almost. I'm kind of loving that. I really am. I think I like that. I think I do. So what I do want to try to do now is add a little bit of this lighter blue. The beauty of water activated paints is if I do this and I hate it, I can just use water activated paints and go back over it and fix it. Mind you, this could very easily all get covered up with eyeliner on accident, but it's fine. It's part of the process, part of the fun. So the next thing I need to do is eyeliner. And then also like going over my eyebrow with black. What I would like to do, I think, first is go over my eyebrow in black paint. And then go over the actual eye area with actual liner because I have better control and I think I'll feel more confident with that rather than a paintbrush. So I just need to cover my whole brow to start. Let me zoom you in because it's gonna start being a lot of detail work and I feel like you're gonna wanna see that. Let me get you just a little bit closer. I'm just gonna get black paint in like my whole eyebrow and then I'll worry about shape after, but I at least need to get all my eyebrow hairs covered. I was never a part of the big eyebrow trend, like the blocky eyebrows in like 2016, but I feel like right now I'm nailing it. All right, I tried to do like a big arch, like a pointed arch there. The ends are getting a little out of my control. I can always touch that up with concealer though, it's not the end of the world. But I am going to sit here and try and do some of these like lines to make it look like I have an eyebrow. Because there were a couple that I saw that kind of had this like eyebrow look about them. So let me clean up this brow real quick and then kind of like give myself some more shape underneath there and do whatever. Then once the eyeliner is on, we have to do some of those like emote lines. So there will be some obviously down here when we get to it, but there will also be quite a few down the bridge of my nose, kind of defining those, maybe like in my crease, kind of giving me a little bit of emotion around. I'm looking over here at this woman, but very much filling in some of this space that we see. Well, hello there. I feel like we have really come together here. What I do want to do now, together, you and me, is do the lines I need to add. However, I do think that I am thriving with this eyeliner rather than trying to use paint because the tip is really, really pointy. It's a little brush tip pen, or sorry, felt tip pen. This is the NYX Epic Ink Liner in black. One thing I do find with these is a phenomenal eyeliner, but when you get it new, sometimes it bleeds a lot. Here, you can see how fine of a point that is. Sometimes you'll get like bleeding and like bubbles of product coming out. Just check it before you use it and wipe it off. It'll be fine. It just, you might have to wipe off any of the excess. One thing that I struggle with is getting these lines to look good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be I'm going to do them gingerly. I'm going to do them sparingly. I find that if I add too many, that's when it gets a little crazy. So we are going to do our best to do a couple and not too many. Hey, Caitlin, talking while doing this, terrible idea. Stop doing it. And then I need to do, oh, this one's so tricky. Okay. Because it goes right through my nose rings. Tempted to like do one this way, but I think that would be too much. Learn to stop, quit while you're ahead. Okay, I'm real quick gonna just like look really deep into my mirror and fix some of these up a little bit, and then I'll do the white lines with us, and then we're actually, oh no, then we have to do our red lips. Not the white lines yet. Okay, let me fix these up real quick, just so that they're all a little bit more even and a little bit easier to see. Because right now they're very thin, which is great, but they need to be good in photos, you know? So let me just do that. I'm gonna turn back on my Dimension 20 because there's only 6 minutes left and I'd like to finish it, okay? It's Dimension High sophomore year season finale. Very important, very, very, very important. So I put my red lip on while I was off camera waiting for that episode of Dimension 20 sophomore year to end. Great cliffhanger for Dimension 20 junior year to start on, but I need to now do my lippies, which are gonna be a little bit harder. Outlining them always tends to be a struggle for me. I don't know why. It's like, I don't know, I use lip liner. This shouldn't be rocket science, but it's just tough, you know? I'm gonna do the lips, and then I think I'll probably do the rest of this stuff off camera and let you be a little bit surprised by the absolute final outcome, you know? Gotta keep you on your toes. Plus the wig is gonna like change the way you feel about this. If you aren't feeling it yet, which you should be, but if you aren't, I got you. That was very thin and very shaky. I definitely am gonna have to fix that. Hold on. See if I can do this. It's not straight, but it's better. Okay, now the other way. I mean, can we just talk about that lipstick that lipstick application though on that upper lip? I killed that. Just saying. Okay. I need a little line here. All right. Okay. 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 All right. The one thing I want to do real quick with you all is to do a little highlight, just like on my little, like between here and on my lips a little bit. I need to find a better photo with a lip highlight so that way we can get a better idea of it. So I'm just gonna hold this mirror. We're gonna do it like right here. Oh, we're not thick enough. All right, I feel pretty good about that. We have some highlights on our eye, our little water droplets. We have some highlights on our face. That's great. All right, I'm gonna go off screen. I'm gonna do the white lines. I'm gonna like fix up this line again, just so that it's a little bit more prominent. And then we'll be back. So hope you're ready to see the final look. Wig and all, baby, wig and all. Ooh, 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 ready? Let me show you. Look at this. I'll zoom you out of here. There we go. Okay, bye. Hello there. It doesn't want to focus on me per usual. Oh my gosh, look at this. It does say that I have low battery. I'm not changing this battery. I'm gonna finish this shit, okay? What do you think? Do you like my little micro bangs? You can see a little bit of my brown hair peeking out, but that's because I don't care enough to do a good old-fashioned wig cap and proper installation, okay? But this is our finished look. I think starting with the blending, genius move. Thank you for letting me know that I'm so smart. I really appreciate you. This is so fun. Okay, you ready for some slow-mo shots? Because I am ready. I don't know about you all, but I feel like dark hair, it works. It works on me, let me tell you. So this wig I got off Amazon, and the bangs were like down to here and real curled in, and I just chopped them. Like I said, a lot of this got covered up, so I'm glad I didn't even try to write anything. I don't think it would have been worth it if I'm being perfectly honest with you, but it's no big deal. But yeah, I am super, super pumped. I think that at the end of the day, changing it up and doing something a little different, like the comic book style paper on your face, way better than trying to recreate a look that you've already done and giving yourself the opportunity to critique it to no end, right? Like, I'm pretty satisfied with this. If I were to change anything, I mean, I think I could use a little bit more shading on the outside, but I was just kind of over it. My nose, like this section right here isn't my favorite, but other than that, like genuinely, I think it looks really freaking cool. So I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Just a reminder, I have to now finish doing all like the TikToks and stuff. So that part is kind of fun. There's all these like fun transitions I try to do and all that. I try to do sounds that like coordinate to the theme. For some of these, like the last two, it's been more so just like cool, fun sounds, like give a good transition. But next week, there's gonna be themed music. And then the SFX, I always do like themed music about like blood and death. Because that's normal. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Just a reminder that I am still raising money for the Joyful Heart Foundation in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month for the entire month of October over on my Twitch channel, which is KaitlinJulian_Sims. You're gonna be sick of hearing that from me, but thank you for even clicking on the link. You can copy the link and share it to your Facebook, to your Instagram, to your family, to your friends, to all of the above. I do not mind one little bit. The more money for them, the better. You know what I mean? What else? What else? What else? I feel like I was gonna tell you something else, but now I'm about to sneeze, so this might ruin everything. I tried really hard to sneeze in a way that would not ruin my entire face, but thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe down below, and I will be back next week for look number 3 of 4 for the old YouTubes. Halloween month is so fun. But yeah, I'm leaving. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day, week, month, or year. And on that note, I'm going the fuck to bed. Okay, well, no, I'm not. TikToks, and then shower, and then bed. But you know what? It's only 1:21. Oh, 1:22. Could be worse. It could always be worse. I don't think you can see him. Hold on. I gotta show you. There's a sleepy boy, right? Oh, I'll nail it one of these days. No, this way. Right there.